What have you seen out of Ayo, and has he impressed you so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing that stands out with him is the pace that he plays with. Chris Finch mentioned it after the game, I believe, to Atlanta, where he's like, he just turns turnovers into points quickly. And that type of pace, I think, both in the half court and in transition, is something the Wolves really have missed. But to me, the biggest thing that he brings, even more so than the pace, is just that ability to consistently give you 10 to 15 points a night efficiently, right? Minimizing dribbles, doesn't need a lot of shots. And I think that's just really important in an ecosystem. When you've got Ant and Julius, even when they're not on the floor, they just promote more of an ISO heavy, game. So I think, yeah, I mean, Io was my favorite trade deadline target for the Wolves. I think he just perfectly fits, where the Wolves have had shortcomings. I think he's the quick drying tar to Minnesota's potholes this season. But
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, right. But no, I mean, but in all seriousness, I think it was a very solid addition. I'm glad that the Wolves didn't get Giannis in a way. I think this is more of what they needed, was a guy that can come in off the bench, be efficient, fill that Nikhil void, at least offensively, and provide some assistance to Naz Reid.
Chris, you actually got to see your first game in a long time. It was running with the Timberwolves at the Wolves game last night. What have you liked out of Ayo so far?
Like was mentioned, the pace of play is shocking right away. Like you notice it instantly. Like there's guys that are willing passers, but then there's guys that are making the next pass to try to get an assist or like to try to make a play with the pass. And he'll do that a lot of times instead of just like swing, swing, swing. He'll come to him and then he'll like make a dagger pass to a cutter or something like that, or somebody or a Rudy under the rim he did last night. He'll get the ball early transition. He's one of the fastest guys in transition, but he'll forward the ball up to somebody else. Like he'll get off the ball and then get right back in the play. So, like you said, efficiency of dribbles, efficiency of movement is really great by him. And then just the fact that we have another guy that will attack the actual paint. Like we're kind of a passive team outside of Randall and Anthony Edwards. Like everybody else is kind of more willing to like just swing it to the next guy or maybe shoot the three. Like Jaden sometimes will drive, but it's even that's kind of like a slow sort of like awkwardy sort of drive where Ayo's like downhill full speed, and that pressure that he puts on the rim is just something that we needed to add. And then the other thing that I think was the most shocking was we have lineups like you mentioned. Did we do enough at the trade deadline? And I'm kind of on the team of, I don't know if we might have enough talent, but I don't know if we have the right skill sets. And what we fall apart at sometimes is like having a guy to get the offense going. And when Anthony Edwards wasn't in there last night, and it was like Dante, Jaden were kind of the ball guys, and I think Clark were in there. Like we had trouble just getting going. Like we couldn't get really the ball up court very well. And Ayo gives us that, is another guy that can bring the ball up, which even having that skill set is a huge add to us. So, I mean, there's little things that he's adding that don't seem great, but just getting the ball across half court without like really struggling with the pressure and getting that first pass off and the offense flowing sometimes is more valuable than people know.
Today's show is brought to you by 612tees.com. Cole at 612tees designs awesome shirts for yourself or the Wolves fan in your life. Check them out at 612tees.com and use the promo code RUN25 at checkout, or just click on the link in the description to get 25% off your purchase. That's at 612tees.com. Link in the description.
Coach Finch was asked after the game. He says that Ayo plays clean. He takes it if he's there. And really interesting thing that he said is I'm comfortable putting him really with any lineup, which is really high praise considering he's only played 3 games and we've lost. I guess we've gone 2-1 on them. Charlie, I may be jumping the gun too much, but I want to get your opinion on this. Obviously, fans, like I mentioned, do jump the gun a little bit sometimes. Could you see by the end of the year Coach Finch throwing Ayo into the starting lineup, or do you like him better just coming off the bench? Because cards on the table, I kind of like him better coming off the bench. I know Chris has mentioned this a ton, but doesn't really matter who starts the game, it's who finishes the game. but I don't know. I don't mind him as a bench piece. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you, Gabe. I don't see him really starting. I just don't see the value of starting him when Dante plus the starters, they've got a +10 net rating this season. They've got a good chemistry. I don't see the point in really messing with that for a guy who I think in Ayo is kind of like molded, handcrafted to be a great bench player. Not saying that he will never not be a starter, but I just think he excels when he comes off the bench, and he can be sort of just like you said, a shocking, Chris, like you mentioned, a shocking pace injector. I just think Minnesota's bench in particular needs that more than the starting lineup does. I'm also in agreement. I don't really care too much who starts because it's like whatever. So let's say like Dante goes to the bench and Ayo starts, and Dante now plays more minutes with the bench lineups, with Nas, with Clark, whatever. My only concern with that is then Dante has been kind of a up and down shooter. And I think I would rather have 9 points by Ayo Dosumnu with 2 3-pointers made every night than Dante giving you 12 points most of the time, but then sometimes he's going to shoot like 1 for 8 from 3, like he did last night, 1 for 5.
Yep.
I think if that happens with Dante on the bench playing in a lot of bench lineups, that would be more detrimental. But yeah, I just don't really see the upside, at least right now, in starting Dosumnu. I don't really see that changing as the season goes on.
Yeah, particularly when you watch Dante, and if you look at the box score, you see 1 for 5, and you're like, oh, I had another tough night. Like if you watch that game, he's so active defensively, like making it so hard on Portland and the other teams that they play. It's just, even if you look at the lineup distribution of what the best lineup for the Wolves, he's in most of them. Like he's in like 8 out of 10 of them. He's a difference maker, even when he's not hitting shots. And if he's hitting shots, he's even that much better. Chris, what do you think on Charlie's point where just keep him on the bench? What do you think?
You got to juggle egos. Dante, he was pretty loud that he wanted to be a starter. Like you said, we're a +10, which is like one of the highest for like the top most used rosters in the NBA this year. And last year, I talked about it often last year, our starters played they ended up being the second most behind the Knicks, but for a long time, we had the most minutes together. And we were like a +2, like going into the end of the season, where I think we pushed it up to like a +3.5 last year with the starters, meaning that we were not that good. Like we relied on our bench last year a lot more. This year, our starters are putting in that punch to be +10. That's great. So yeah, to have a guy like Ayo on the bench, and then like Gabe, you said, like what Finch said, we'll play him anywhere. He played a lot in the little bit that I've seen at small forward, like backing, like when Jaden was out. So, we're playing 2 guards and Ayo, and he's kind of like, he's long enough to do that. So I would rather have that Swiss Army knife that could maybe help at point guard or small forward, or maybe give us some shooting guard minutes off the bench than burn it in the starting lineup.
Right. And I think kind of with the Nas argument, for those who've been saying that Nas should be in the starting lineup, like you understand when he's in the starting lineup, you lose that production off the bench. And when you got guys like Jalen Clark coming off the bench, who can be effective sometimes, but more better in a defensive role, I think you just lose some of the firepower off the bench.